right, guys, welcome into the Key of Gadsden, Rainbow City, Coach Ali Smith Show, brought to you by our friends at Alley's Carpet. Any of your carpeting needs, make sure you go visit those guys. And also, ready for a new car, come check out our friends at the Kia store of Gadsden and Rainbow City. We're here with Coach Ali Smith with the Gadsden City Titans, coming off a pretty tough loss against Oxford last week. After that game, what was your message to the team after that game was over?
The biggest thing is about being consistent. We can't be one way one week. The preparation for the game, we just didn't. I don't feel like we competed for 4 quarters or throughout the game. So our preparation got to be better and consistent throughout the year.
Right. Bo and I, we got there at halftime. We went to some other games that night, but when the team came out, they still, despite the score, they still seemed like they were upbeat and ready to go get after it. And I heard some of the guys on the sideline saying, "Hey, let's go out here and let's try to get this win. We still got 2 quarters to play." Talk about, in the past, we've talked about, Gadsden City teams giving up and whatnot, and this team seems like they fight to the end regardless of what's going on. Talk about the difference between this year's teams and some of the teams in the past.
Well, we have a good staff to kind of relay the message that some of the guys have been around, and we've been down 28-0 and come back and won. We've been down 35-0 and come back and won in the quarterfinals of the playoffs before. So, we have a veteran group of coaches that's been through the ringer, and that's what we're trying to teach our kids, how to fight from the beginning to the end. Let's don't chase points, let's chase plays.
Right.
And we got to get our kids to start playing teams and quit playing team names.
Yeah, and that's something we've talked about, earlier in some of the previous shows. Kind of piggybacking off that question, this senior class this year, they seem to be a really good group of leaders, and that's something you don't find in every team every year. But this group seems to be really special. They've got their mindset straight. Talk about that group of seniors this year.
Well, that group right there, they don't know, they hadn't had a lot of overwhelming success as a team, football-wise, since they've been in high school. But those kids have had a lot of success individually. They're some tremendous athletes and tremendous workers. So when you talking about DeMarcus Macon, Jaden Lawson, Jamari Boston, Zion Kirby, Jaheim Norris, Brady True, Rod Ward, the list can go on and on. We got about 30-something seniors, and typically this is probably one of our biggest classes. We always start out with about 55, 60 freshmen, and then you end up with about 20 kids out playing. And so, but this group is kind of stuck together, and they are extremely close on and off the field. Yeah. So, and that's where it's the disappointing part when we don't finish games or we don't compete in the games that we think that are what we call the 50-50 games, that we got to, we need to overcome that, because we do have a good group of kids.
Oh, yeah, because I know I talked to Rod earlier this summer about some of the things that they do outside of football, and one thing he told me that they did as a group was going fishing, and I didn't know that about them. So
Coach Huff, myself, if they play other sports, you have to kind of know where the fishing holes are, because if they missing, that's where they are. I'll show you that. And that's one thing that they will. If you have an argument going in the locker room, it's about fishing. Trust me, and that is no joke there.
Well, I guess that's a good thing though. If they're missing, you know where they are. Yeah. They're somewhere fishing.
Oh yeah, they'll miss something about how fishing. But they do a good job. Coach Estes, they'll go fishing with them, and I think they showed up at Coach Huff's house and cast out there somewhere. So
that's nice.
They will do that.
That's a good thing. That's a good way. That's a good way for the team to bond, man. All right. Well, this week we jump back into region play. Getting back to the grind against Tuscaloosa County. Like we talk about every week, what are some of the things you've noticed on film from them offensively and defensively?
Hey, I tell you this, a dear friend of ours, God rest his soul, was the running back coach over there a year ago. He passed away early, back in the early part of the year, and he bragged about their running back. And he is everything he advertised. Dre Little, God rest his soul, but he bragged about their running back over there, and he's as as advertised from that standpoint. And I tell you, we're going to have our hands full with tackling that young man. And they defense, they fly around. And, we know Coach Todd over there. He's been around football a long time. His daddy was a long time defensive coordinator over there. So we got a little history over there in that area with those guys. So it's going to be an exciting challenge for us.
Yeah. Well, we got to miss. We got to.
Coach, I got a question for you. I noticed your offense seems to run a lot better when you get CJ running downhill, obviously, because it opens up so many more things. You can play action off of him. You can start, some of your sweep stuff, jet sweep stuff. But talk about the importance, especially going on the road, getting him rolling early, playing off of what he does.
Well, we talked about that last week. We thought we got it going, and then we kind of stalled. We want to be able to hit the explosives, but we feel like we got two guys out on the edge that we can to then get that guy to get CJ rolling, because once we get him going, then we kind of can keep him off balance with our guys on the edges and things like that. So we want to make them have to cover the whole field, and this year we have the tools to do that, and we don't feel like that we accomplished that last week, and we don't want to go back into another game where we're not complimenting CJ and letting them stack the box with 9 or 10 guys and keep taking him out of our game plan. We want to widen that thing and get him involved and get him going early.
Oh, yeah. Kind of piggybacking off that, I noticed in a couple games where you've won a toss, most teams defer to the second half, but you decided to get the ball first. Was that part of your game plan? Is let's get the ball first, get CJ going, and try to get the offense going?
Yes, we've what we've done. In the past, we like, hey man, let's go ahead and defer, and then we'll get it in the second half. Well, no, man, we feel like we got a good group of kids, and we want to get them going early.
Yeah.
So hey, let's take the ball and let's see where we go. So that's been our theme pretty much all year, and for the most part, with the exception of 3 games that we scored on the opening drive. Going in that area.
Right. Okay. All right. Kind of going forward with this game. This is a huge region game as far as region standings go. You kind of did. I mean, this is crunch time. So Region 3, as always, as advertised. I mean, I think you're about to have a log jam and a lot of ties going on. So let's talk about some of the things you guys got to do to secure one of those 4 playoff spots. Going forward and finishing up this season?
Well, first and foremost, the biggest thing we got to do is win tomorrow. Win the next game, and take care every day. And what I got this little thing, what I keep telling them is, hey, every second, every minute, every hour, every day, that's what we got to win. We got to take care of us and be prepared every week. And I think that if we handle the next 4 weeks in a mature way, in a consistent way, and preparation, we'll be fine. Because when we're prepared, and ultimately it's my job to have them prepared and not come out flat. And get them going, whether it's the coaches, the players, the trainers, the filmers, and everybody's got to be on our A game week in and week out. We do not have a down week, and we don't want a down week. We want to be able to go out and compete every week at a high level.
All right, good deal. One thing I've noticed, and I think Bo can back me up on this, when we go out to other schools and visit other schools, we talk to some of these coaches, and one of the first things they say is, what is Ali doing down there at Gadsden City? He's got those guys playing some good football this year and everything. And I mean, and every coach has the utmost respect for you and everything you've done at Gadsden City. How, where do you, with that being said, or do you feel like where you are right now, do you feel like you're kind of ahead of where you're trying to go, or you're about on pace on getting things turned around?
Well, we feel like we could be a lot better. And we appreciate, people are maybe taking notice, but at the same token, we feel like that we've left certain things out that we worked so hard. We thought starting in December up until now, where we don't leave games feeling like we lost plays out on the field, or we didn't take advantage of situations, and so we're getting there, but we're not nowhere near where we need to be. Our kids are trying, our coaching staffs are trying. Nobody's not staying on task of what the goal is, but we want to move forward where we want that once we step on the football field, everybody will respect the brand and the quality of football we put out week in and week out.
Peanut gallery. So yesterday we talked to Coach Mark O'Brien, who played with Buster.
Yes.
Buster's awesome. And he talked about how, and we talked about this when we did your first one-on-one before you coached the first game at Gadsden, but the importance of what Buster installed in you guys, and there's like a Buster Gross tree. I mean, you got how many of your staff, Troop and those guys,
Yes.
but talk about what Buster's meant for you and how you took what you learned from Buster Gross and have installed it in these kids that you coach now, besides the pressure points.
Oh, yes.
We've had some players confirm that.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Well, the pressure points, I say this, coaches, I sit and I think, like, for so many things, like there's a couple coaches over in the Birmingham area that play for Coach, and we got a couple guys up in the Carolinas, and we'll talk about things that Coach accepted, didn't accept, and competitiveness and being relentless on every play, and not getting tired and letting anybody break your will.
Yeah.
Those are some of the things that I don't get. I think back to Coach telling us, when we had tons of players, you coming off the field, we didn't understand that. You need a break or you need a blow. We couldn't walk over and tell Coach Gross that. So no smoke at all. And if you did, he would give you some smoke. And so those are the things that we know for a fact. I done a show with Earl Dudley on Monday night, and I shared with them on that I said, with Buster Gross and George Baker, man, we would, some people ask, why would you schedule Oxford out of region? And I'm like, why not? We know how to, we want to be able to compete. The way we grew up, our coaches would frown on us. We didn't have what you call a cupcake schedule. We can't go and find that. And if we're not going to put the best for our kids to have the opportunity to compete, why do it? So I don't know no other way.
Right.
So we that's the way we're going to compete. We're going to find teams and games, that's going to make our kids tough. They're going to be competitive. That was one of the biggest reasons why we picked up Fort Payne, because we know they will hit you in the mouth.
Oh yeah.
And we wanted our kids to, feel that before we get into region play. Yeah. So those are the things that we wanted to try.
Because I'm sure a lot of people probably looked at the schedule and said, why did they schedule Fort Payne? But Fort Payne for years, even when I was at Gadsden, how we played Fort Payne was one of those teams you could not take lightly.
Oh, yeah.
So I knew when I saw that game, I said, that's going to be a good game. It's going to be a good competitive game.
Yes. Exactly.
They're old school.
Yeah,
They're going to hit you in the mouth, and they're going to be very well coached, and they're going to be where they're supposed to be, and you got to play a good football game or they'll beat your tail.
Exactly. All right, Coach, we're going to, before we wrap it up this week, we're going to let you have the floor, let you say, have your moment.
Well, big thing, and say that we're not proud of the product of football we put out last week. We're anxious to get our tails back out on the football field and compete, and hopefully that we're not limping into it. We've had a very physical and aggressive week of preparation this week, so we're excited about getting back out and traveling over to Tuscaloosa County this week.
All right, Coach. We appreciate you coming on, and guys, this is the kid of Gadsden, Rainbow City, Coach Ali Smith Show, brought to you by Allie's Carpet. And we'll see you guys next week.